to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, which we apparently finally figured out that I guess I had reused some numbers and shit. And we're actually at 332 instead of like 319, 320 is what it is right now. I didn't even realize that until recently. Well, the problem is, honestly, it's because I go through multiple accounts. Here's what it is for StreamYard. And I didn't realize when I jumped off the previous account to recall and write down exactly what number the grandstand I was using at the time. So then I could just simply do the next one as what it was there. And so, yeah, for some reason, my other one had like a certain number to it or whatever the case be. And I'm just like, oh, I guess that's the next number or whatever the case be. And I don't know why. Just messed up or whatever, like 2-3 weeks ago is what it was. And then, yeah, I just kept going down that road is what it is then. So it'll be fixed at some point in the future. It's just, getting in there and being able to do is what it is then. But yeah, we're going to go to the real numbers now, which is obviously 332 right now. So last one would have been 331 actually. But yeah, today's episode, we're going to talk about Angus King's recent quote-unquote GOSAFE Act that is nothing more than the 2023 version of Assault and Banner. New name is what it is. So for those who know who Angus King is the ex-governor of Maine who is now a senator from Maine, claims to be independent, is nothing more than a fucking Democrat sack of shit, lying fucking douchebag. He and another fucking douchebag from New Mexico named Martin Heinrich, pretty interesting given the fact that pretty sure there's a lot of Heinrichs in the fucking Nazi SS back in the day, bro. So, yeah, you got this fuckface from New Mexico who is the other primary sponsor of this bullshit legislation. And it's basically them bullshitting and lying about, like, oh, it's going to be used to protect kids and people from being safe in their homes and stuff by literally banning gas-operated rifles is what it really is, which is nothing more, again, than an attack on ARs in this country, which, by the way, are legally protected under multiple fucking statutes, you dickless morons. I'm so I don't know about anyone else, dude, but I'm so fucking sick and tired of these goddamn cowards. These fucking pussy-ass old men, in many cases. These fucking douchebag geriatrics who've been thrown out of fucking office over 20 years ago at this point in history. Fucking around with our constitutional rights at this point. Being some of the biggest oath-breaking sacks of shit, they can't even read the Constitution itself and the Second Amendment as it stands right now. This is why, honestly, and I said it a little bit ago here on the X account there, and I'm going to say it again right now. I am calling out every Republican in this country right now, from state houses to the U.S. Senate to the U.S. Congress, etc. Get off your asses and introduce legislation specifically called the Oathbreakers Act of 2023. And that act, when enacted, would up deprivation of rights or color of law to a federal felony. And anyone who pushes gun control after it will be immediately arrested out of office and given one of two charges, depending on severity of the crime, under now felony deprivation of rights or color of law, which would be the first one being life imprisonment, the second one being death penalty. Because it's really time for people to just fucking, at least minimum, start being given life imprisonment sentence for the kind of shit right now, dude. When you are actively trying to disarm Americans because you are a tyrant sack of shit, the exact same tyrant sacks of shit that our founding fathers shot in the fucking face, by the way, you don't need to be in office anymore, is what it is, dude. And it's as simple as that, really. You don't need to be in office anymore. You don't need to see the light of day outside of a fucking prison cell anymore, is what it is. And I guarantee you, the first couple of these people that it happens to when they get arrested for life imprisonment or whatever the case be there, you're going to have the other one shut the fuck up is what it is, man. And on that thing as well, for that Oathbreakers Act of 2023, there should be a 1,000-year moratorium to protect the Second Amendment specifically, is what it is, in that whole legislation, which would be nothing more than another, caveat to the thing is what it is. Because that's a problem, dude. And I've said it for years now, honestly. The fact that these people were even allowed to introduce this legislation to begin with, which is a direct violation and a direct, well, not multiple direct violations, actually, it's multiple direct violation of their oath to office, for God's sakes, under the Constitution. It is a direct violation of the Second Amendment itself at that point, that specifically says shall not be infringed in it, and so forth and so on. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and read a couple things about this. We got a couple different articles here to pull up about this bullshit and go from there, basically. So I'm going to grab Oh, that's another one I want to talk about too. As of last night, I guess federal background checks hit the 30th anniversary now, which is kind of ironic. For those that don't know what that is, basically you had it was back when Brady was shot back during Reagan's administration. That's where the whole Brady campaign thing came from. And then it was 30 years ago yesterday was when that piece of shit Bill Clinton, who's a known child molester, signed that garbage into law, which in and of itself shouldn't even been allowed to, be a thing because of the fact that you had everybody voting yes on it should have been immediately arrested on the point, dude. For again, deprivation of law is what it is. So, anyway. Trying to find the one article here that I was looking at earlier today is what it is. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for right there. And then we're actually going to look up Angus King again here for a minute. So, honestly, I'm looking at this old man here, like this picture of Angus King here is what it is. And you cannot honestly tell me this guy doesn't have a lot of fucking shady shit in his past, dude. The guy honestly looks like a Confederate fucking general. Legitimately. He also kind of looks like the creepy old grandpa that tells, his little granddaughter, don't tell mommy I touched you and you're no squares and shit. That's what this guy fucking reminds me of, honestly, dude. And like I said, he was Maine's governor from 95 to 2003. Which, ironically enough, they didn't have any kind of pro-gun legislation during his fucking tenure there, is what it is. Yeah, you got multiple articles here. You got Maine Senator King unveils proposal to ban certain kinds of guns and ammo. Introduces gun control bill. Proposed gun control bill by King and Heinrich. Democrats introduce... I love how the Hill says it. Democrats introduce bill regulating mechanisms of rapid-firing weapons. So, yeah, that's an Angus King-related one. Yeah, he's a fucking Democrat, dude. He's not independent at all. And we got Portland Press, Angus King, new legislation can protect communities. Well, how'd they put it here? Let's see the lie they push here. Protect communities while protecting gun rights. No, it can't, you fucking lying pricks. That's the entire point, assholes. You are trying to ban an entire class of firearm. You're not protecting shit. You are directly violating your oath of office. You are directly violating the Constitution itself. You are, by definition, restricting firearms ownership in this country of literally one of the most commonly owned firearms in this fucking nation. End of story, assholes. For those interested, that's my recently built AR-15. That's the kind of shit they're trying to ban, by the way, in this whole thing. Come and fucking take it, motherfucker, and see what happens when you break into my home. As simple as that, honestly. And I've said it before, honestly, the best thing that can happen in this country, truthfully, any of these fucking douchebag politicians that want to push gun control, dude, try door-to-door confiscation and put these fuckers as the first people in the stack is what it is, dude. And I guarantee they're fucking coward pussy asses. They're little dickless fucking pussy asses at that point. These super fucking cunts like that are going to shut their goddamn old mouths as soon as they see that, oh, people aren't going to fight back against your fucking tyranny? Yes, we are. And that's the entire point, dude. It shouldn't need to come to that because you should just fuck off, honestly. We should be at a precipice in time in history right now where it's like, yeah, you want to push some shit like this, dude, you're immediately thrown out of office. The fact that we don't already have a 20th Amendment to the Constitution of auto DQs at this point is absolutely ridiculous as well, for that matter. That should have been on the books over 25 years ago. You want to do some tyrant shit? Guess what? You're out of office. You're going to jail now. It's as simple as that, dude. And that's the thing. All this could easily be solved that way. It would never have to come to violence, honestly, dude. It could easily be solved with simply just putting people in prison right now where they belong for violating their oaths of office, for violating people's constitutional rights, for violating Americans' God-given rights. That's the whole point, dude. The Constitution, by the way, for those who don't know, these are a list of things the government cannot take away from us. Those are a list of things the government cannot infringe upon, whether that be your freedom of speech, your freedom of the press, your right to keep and bear arms, your rights against illegal search and seizures, etc. That's the entire fucking point. And apparently far too many of them don't understand that when they're doing these things, it's time for them to get the fuck out of here, dude. It's time for them to get the fuck out of here in a pair of handcuffs off to a prison cell is what it is. And it can easily be solved with that, dude. And I guarantee you when the first couple dominoes like that fall, When you start having actual federal agents walking to Congress and stuff like that with pairs of handcuffs, start handcuffing people up and ground them out of fucking chairs and shit like that, be like, you're under arrest for, X number of felonies is what it is then. Things would change very quickly. The problem is they will never fucking do that because the feds themselves are goddamn compromised at this point, dude. They have been for decades now. It would take an entire thing where you'd actually have to the American people make deprivation of rights or color of law a felony ourselves at this point, so that we could then use that felony charge to then go citizens arrest these cocksuckers now. So, well, if you got a chance to see last night's Buckshot, not so well, actually. My aunt really got me tweaked off, honestly, and it was not fun. But as far as I'm aware, Mom is still, she's obviously fighting. She is a fighter. She has been a fighter for, decades of her life and stuff like that, so as far as I'm aware, she's doing okay now. Not as best she can be, obviously, after having initial bypass is what it is, So, it's the whole thing. But anyway, back to the topic at hand, though. We got, we're going to read a couple different ones here. So we got Washington Examiner here is going to be one of the articles we're going to read, and then we're going to read the other one about the gun control / ammo ban stuff. Says Maine's August King introduced gun legislation to, quote, save lives and protect the Second Amendment. Okay, so when I'm seeing this, right, I'm like, okay, so you're gonna do that stuff, right? Okay, so are you going to repeal the Gun-Free Zones Act of 1990? The actual act that since 1990, 33 years ago, has actually led to nearly every mass shooting in this country in the gun-free zones that were created after the fact? Oh no, you're not? Then fuck off, old man. And it's as simple as that, really. So, anyway. But yeah, it says Angus King, so-called independent, which is nothing more than Democrat, introduced legislation on Thursday aimed at, quote-unquote, saving lives in the wake of several mass shootings across the country, across the United States, the most high-profile recent one occurring in the state of Maine. I love how they say several mass shootings, because they're really talking about is Maine's actual mass shooting that is defined by the mass shooting being 4 more dead and stuff like that. And then it's a bunch of gangbanger shit as the other ones are talking about there in that situation. Yeah, because when you look it up here, it's like, 6 shot, 2 killed. But yeah, right there. They call that a mass shooting. 6 shot, 2 killed in Philadelphia shooting. This is gang violence, by the way. Let's see. We got 3 absurd claims about Lewiston shooting made by gun control activists. Let's see. Maine Governor Janet Mills introduces independent panel to investigate Lewiston mass shooting. Mass shooting, sheriffs release details of previous released Lewiston shooter. And that basically talks about all kinds of shit there is what it is, though. So, anyway. But yeah, it was said King insisted the bill, quote, would not hinder Second Amendment rights, which is what they say immediately before they do that, by the way. It's just like saying, I'm pro to, or how they put it now. Yeah, it was, I'm pro-gun, but, and then it's always like some other super bullshit after that, though. And it was funny because last night, Chris Dorr from Ohio Gunners was saying that shit last night on the Ohio Gunners Facebook page. And I actually was kind of trolling their asses on that one. And being like, I'm pro-gun, but I also think we should have access to grenades and RPGs. And that is true, by the way. We should have those access to those things without any kind of bullshit tax stamps and everything else like that. So the only reason we don't, obviously, is because we're not a complete high-trust society right now. We have fucking, all these people that all just sit there and steal shit every day and do all kinds of crazy shit. And as we saw from the riots in 2020, you got BLM and Antifa terrorists that would just use those against cops and stuff like that. And that's why you won't have those things ever is what it is until we get rid of those fucking elements of this country is what it is then. So, anyway. But yeah. Anyway. Going back to this, though. Said King, along with Senator Martin Heinrich from New Mexico, Democrat, introduced the, quote, gas-operated semi-automatic firearms exclusion, or GOSAFE Act, which seeks to curb, quote, mass killing events without hindering Americans who own a firearm for self-defense or for the marksmanship who head the shooting range or the woods during hunting season. Again, guns were not used for hunting, you jackasses, unless we're talking about hunting tyrants, legitimately. They were literally designed to kill tyrants. Period. End of story. The problem is the dumbasses in the NRA conceded to some fucking Democrat 40, 50 years ago and was like, oh yeah, we can totally use it for hunting purposes. You can, but that's besides the point, dude. It's literally meant to end tyranny. Period. End of fucking story. Yeah, I talked about that last night. It's Michigan town. And it was their city council that... Or wait, was it city council? I'm trying to think now. County commissioners, maybe? I don't know. It was one of the two that basically did a thing where, yeah, they were forming a militia for anybody 18 and over is what it is. And then from there, it would basically be a... they can all join it and stuff like that. And it's basically to push back against Whitmer's bullshit is what it is. Sorry, gotta get my look kind of dry on right now because my throat is kind of messing up today. I've had a lot of eye issues too in the last couple of days. I'm not sure if I'm getting an eye infection or if it's just worry and lack of sleep and everything else like that combined together. But I should probably get some like drops or something to put in my eyes the other day is what it is. So anyway, what was that now? I don't even know. Oh yeah, the GOSAFE is what was there. So yeah, it's basically an attack on any kind of rifle. And the thing is, like they did it exactly how they did it too, by the way, because it's like gas operated and stuff. So it'd be ARs, AKs, any of that stuff like that, dude, with any kind of gas block and stuff like that in it then. So anyway, and I love how they say curb mass killings because it's like, dude, even the FBI statistic prove it's a rifle only used like once every like couple hundred is what it is then. Unless you're talking about the mainstream media now that makes it like every fucking time where they do a mass shooting, and I mean them specifically because they're the ones that fucking be like, oh, hey, psychos out there on the left that want to fucking kill a bunch of people. Here's the exact gun you need to use to do your fucking killing later on. Oh, here's exactly where to go in these gun-free zones that were created in 1990 to go do your massacre and get a high body count. And then they keep saying that shit 24/7 wall-to-wall news coverage until the next fucking massacre happens, then is what it is. And that's exactly why the media needs to be tried and held accountable at this point, dude. The mainstream media itself needs to never be protected under freedom of the press anymore, dude, because they're not. They haven't been for decades, honestly. They haven't been since the 1970s, the Great Operation Mockingbird is what it was. Right then and there, they should have been disqualified from even having freedom of the press ever again is what it is. When they come to the Mockingbird media. So, anyway. Let's see, going on here, it said, King's BS continues on and says, for years, I have said that rather than using the appearance of these guns to restrict them, we should instead focus on how these weapons actually work and the features that make them specifically dangerous, King said in a statement. Okay, so are you going to give up your armed security, you dickless faggot? Oh, no, you're not? Then fuck off, man, Angus King, you fucking douchebag. You Nazi wannabe asshole. You Hitlerian fuckboy. That's exactly what it is, by the way. Every single one of these assholes is just many times is what it is, dude. They are modern-day wannabe dictators. They wannabe Hitlers, they wannabe Stalins, they wannabe Maos, they wannabe Pol Pots, Che Guevaras, Nicolas Maduros, fucking Hugo Chavez's, etc. You know, look up any dictator throughout history that I didn't mention quite yet now. That's exactly how it starts, dude. It's always disarmament, by the way. Every single time. Hitler took the guns, Stalin took the guns, Mao took the guns, Pol Pot took the guns, etc., dude. Every dictator throughout history. Nicolas Maduros, Che Guevara, all of them, dude. They all took the guns. And then they went full fucking dictator against the people there. Creating mass genocide in their wake. It's exactly why when you just look at the numbers between Hitler, Stalin, and Mao, dude. Between the Holodomor, between Nazi Germany, between Mao's takeover in the 60s and 70s and stuff like that there, where they were killing birds and stuff like that, and decimating fields and shit, and doing mass starvations and stuff. It is legitimately hundreds of millions of people, dude, in the 19th and 20th centuries. It's fucking psychotic. And for these people to think anybody's ever going to give up their shit, dude, like, no, you can go fuck yourself, dude. Hell, look at the fucking ATF bullshit, dude, about the pistol brace registry stuff, dude. Yeah, there was some dumbasses that registered them as SBRs and stuff like that, which were stupid as fuck, and I told them that before, dude. I told them that many times on this channel, actually, when me and Corey were talking about it like a year ago. I was like, do not register shit, dude. Tell the ATF to go fuck itself, dude. It doesn't have any legal right to do that stuff, dude. Period. It is an unelected bureaucratic entity that does not seem to exist in this country and never should have. It is a direct violation of America's Second Amendment rights, and the only reason ATF does exist right now is because of the fact we have the NFA of 1934 in place, which in of itself was the last remnant of Prohibition, which the second Prohibition was overturned, so should the NFA have been. So anyway, see, going back to the AWB of 2023, here's what it is. Now, it said King said the GOSAFE Act will address, quote, lethal capacity weapons, such as the one used in Lewiston, Maine, meaning AR-15s. 18 people were killed, 2 at mass shooting, and 2 mass shootings, 7 at just-in-time recreation bowling alley, and 8 in the Smithy's Bar and Grill. 3 others died after being taken to the hospital. So I want to point this out, by the way, and we've talked about this before, actually. The Just-in-Time Recreation Center, which was a gun-free zone by definition, specifically said, do not bring guns in here for the safety of family-friendly fun is what it is. And then that bar and grill, you literally had the fucking manager of the bar and grill grab a big-ass butcher knife to confront the fucking killer because he was trying to deal with the fucking guy and didn't have an actual gun on his person because, shocker, they were also a gun-free zone. Gun-free zones kill people, dude. If any person in that fucking bar and grill or in that bowling alley had been armed that night and could have confronted that guy, whether it be the dude who was the manager of the bowling alley, who was a veteran of this fucking country and should have been carrying, by the way, to anybody else for that matter. And by the way, Maine is a constitutional carry state, for God's sakes. They could have legally been carrying constitutionally at that point. They should have been fucking armed. The second that guy walked in the fucking door, they should have blown his goddamn brains out. And you wouldn't have had a fucking issue then, dude. It should have been like the Eli Dickens situation where he sees the fucking shit happen, reacts like a motherfucking, king basically at that point, like a fucking champ. Smokes that dude in 15 seconds, legitimately. Jumps up from the fucking table, pulls his gun, boom, 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 10 fucking times. 8 of 10 hit the fucking target. 80% hit ratio. We'll talk about that later today on Freedom Friday. We were going to talk about yesterday, obviously, but everything happened then. So, but yeah, Freedom Friday will be about Eli Dickens' self-defense encounter and his 80% hit ratio there and stuff like that. And that's the whole point, dude. Truthfully, if Angus King really gave a shit and he wanted to actually really save lives, dude, what he would do is introduce legislation that would give money to people to create actual gun ranges and training centers to train Americans better to use their firearms. So if they ever have to be in a self-defense encounter, they can actually be able to kill the fucking perp in self-defense. And have good muscle memory in doing so. And the appropriation made for that would be basically buy ammo for that fucking place is what it is. So people could use the ammo is what it is then. And potentially also be able to have guns there is what it is to be used for that training purposes and stuff like that is what it is then. But no, these tyrants are never going to do that because they're fucking a tyrant, dude. Instead, they're going to try and take away our rights is what it is. And that's why they can go fuck off a cliff, honestly, for real. Anyway. So since the Maine mass shooting, the use of Maine's, quote, yellow flag law, which temporarily restricts access to guns during mental health crises, has spiked dramatically. It has already been invoked 36 times, making up 30% of all weapons restriction orders imposed since the law went into effect in 2020 per ABC News. So the figure is greater than all the times the law has been invoked in 2020, 2021, 2022 combined. So basically you have 36 people now being probably falsely claimed, is my guess, at least a couple of them anyway. And the problem with the yellow flag law, just like red flag laws, which is what Maine is, it's just, different name for it, what it is there. Temporarily restricting jack shit from people, dude, is unconstitutional itself. It is a direct violation of the multiple amendments in our Constitution, including the 14th Amendment of due process, because you're not due processing these people and giving them a speedy trial. You are forcing them to have their shit confiscated because, oh my God, somebody said something. Oh my God, somebody said they were going to go do something. Oh my God, somebody called it a tyrant fuckboy and they got federally swatted. That's what it is at the end of the day, man. It's a bunch of shit entirely. So, anyway. Let's see where we're at now. Quote, saving lives now and in the future has been my single goal, King said in an op-ed to Portland Press Herald. If that were the case, you'd be resigning from office in disgrace, you dickless piece of shit. So the legislation, which is co-sponsored by Senators Mark Kelly, of course it is. Mark Kelly, whose wife is Gabby Giffords, by the way. Mark Kelly, who illegally tried to purchase a gun from a gun shop, only to do a straw purchase to give it to the fucking cops later on, and was denied sale because of that. Should have been a prohibited person after that, by the way. And because he would have been a prohibited person having a felony record, he wouldn't have been allowed to run for Congress and Senate at all, for that matter. Not to mention, should have been directly disqualified from the running anyway, because his wife is a fucking gun-grabbing piece of shit anti-gun activist, dude. And leads a fucking gun control group. So you got dickless Mark Kelly, piece of shit Michael Bennett from Colorado. So it would limit the number of rounds that a gun's magazine can contain and require the magazines to be permanent, eliminating the ability for gunmen and mass shootings to replace the magazine and reload their weapons rapidly. So first of all, you dickless twats, we have already discussed this. You have already had judges in multiple circuit courts, and I'm pretty sure Supreme Court itself even said that shit recently. Magazine restrictions are unconstitutional, you fucking fuckwits. Fuck off. It's as simple as that, dude. We're sick and tired of your fucking tyranny shit, you douchebags. So that same bill would also prohibit the sale of certain semi-automatic firearms with replacement high-capacity magazines and make bump stocks and Glock switches unlawful. Well, first of all, dipshits, bump stocks that should have never been banned to begin with don't do fucking anything. Glock switches are already fucking illegal, you dumb motherfuckers. You're just banning shit that's already illegal, you fucking idiots. So the law wouldn't change Maine's proud history of... Bullshit. Angus King fucking quoted as, the law wouldn't change Maine's proud history of responsible gun ownership. It makes common sense exceptions for traditional hunting firearms and those used in self-defense. Oh, you mean like AR-15s have been used in self-defense many times? Like the pregnant woman who was 8.5 months pregnant, where her husband was getting beaten by 2 black dudes in Florida, and she literally runs out with his AR-15 and smokes one of these fuckers in their house, to where the guy ran out the door about 15 feet and died in their fucking ditch line, and the other buddy got like ass clapped is what it was. And they found him bleeding from his ass like fucking 6 blocks away or something like that, dude? You mean like that? Or do you mean like Stephen Williford, who stopped the church shooting in Texas with his legally possessed AR-15 against the killer who also had an AR-15? Or are we talking about good old Jack, who had a .357 SIG handgun and killed a guy who was using a fucking shotgun? Or are we talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, who again used his technically possessed AR-15 to kill a fucking pedophile, a fucking wife beater, and blow the fucking arm off of a third fucking felony, a third fucking felon, in Gage Grosskreutz? Yeah, there's a lot of fucking people, man, that have used ARs in self-defense, dude. Rittenhouse is probably the best one of them. That woman of Florida is another one of them. You have Stephen Williford being another one in Texas. You have there's been a lot of them over the years, but I can't remember names, obviously, because I don't think a lot of them had names to them is what it was. But I remember one, there was a couple years ago, it was this black dude in like some hood adjacent area is what it was. You had 8 fucking guys try to break into his home. What did he use to defend himself, dude? He pulled out an AK-47 and chased him on his fucking door. And I loaded the entire mag into the fucking group, and I think he killed a couple of them is what it was. Self-defense is what it was there, man. I forget where that was at now I'm thinking about it. But yeah, he defended himself legally, and I'm pretty sure he is now walking free to this day because of stand your ground laws and stuff like that. Because he was legal to stand his ground like that is what it was. And these are the firearms that these assholes want to fucking take away is what it is, dude. Anyway. You were such a fucking dickless twat, Angus King. Says King pointed to President Trump's ban on bump stocks 2019, as well as pointing numbers showing the majority of people support universal background checks and that around 80% of people support red flag laws. No, they fucking don't, you lying piece of shit. In fact, I'm going to call your fucking ass on this one in real time, Angus King. We're going to go to fucking X right now, actually. We are going to literally go to X right now. I'm going to jump over to X. And we are going to call out Angus King by name at this point in the fucking tweet. Don't want to show that, obviously. A lying sack of shit, falsely claiming the majority support universal background checks and red flag laws, yet the polls he is referring to are conducted on college campuses of under 1,000 people polled. All right, then. So that's done. So anyway, let's see here. Actually, let's go ahead and see exactly what the polls are that he's referencing here, because one was an NBC one. Let's see, majority of Americans support for background checks, gun licensing. Okay, let's see let's see if they actually give the full number here. Let's see. Institute of Democracy's latest Mood on the Nation poll conducted May 12th to 18th. 86%. Okay, 86%. What was the actual number of the people that were polled? That was the question, though. So, right. See, that's the problem right there. What it should say there is 86% of Americans of the 214 polled, or 514, or 1,000 polled, whatever it is there. So let's see. Keep going down, 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 down. Let's see if they actually give the number here. 90% support there. It's all Democrat shit. Okay. Does it actually give a number of how many people were actually polled for this? Is the question. Because I highly doubt it, man. Okay, increase in Second Amendment support. Firearms deaths. Where the hell's the fucking number, dude? Of how many people were actually polled for this shit? Or are you ever going to give that fucking number is what it is? Because you don't want to give that fucking number is what it is, actually. So, let's see here now. Usually it's someplace in the article here. Okay, let's look up this thing right now. I just want to see how many people were polled for this is what it is. See if we can actually find the number here in their website is what it would be then. Okay. Okay, so that would have been... Okay, so I'm going to go back on this right now. Let's see, poll. Let me look up background checks. By the way, for those interested, when they talk about background checks, they almost never talk about how what they're actually discussing is just background checks. It's not calling universal background checks, because there's a big difference between the two things, by the way. Universal background checks are when you would have no private ownership, you would actually have a complete gun roster and registry being created is what it is. They're databases Hitler created back in the day. Regular background checks would be you can go to FFL, do a background check, next check, whatever it is, 30 years now since that whole thing happened. And then from there, it would be a whole situation as well on that one. Hang on, I got to get this phone call. All right, sorry about that, y'all. Had to take a call from my sister. Was getting update about my mom, who is apparently doing slightly better today. She's actually able to walk around now, thankfully, which is good on that one. So she's at least got some mobility now. But yeah, as we're looking up here, we were trying to find that that pole for that place is what it is there. Okay, so this is back in July. This is a different one here, but I think this is the same pole that they're talking about. I'm still trying to find what the actual number was of people polled here is what it is. See, that's the problem, though, okay? So they'll say 80% of Americans, but they don't actually give an actual number there. So that should tell you alone, like, that's a fucking lie, dude. Oh, hang on. Getting another call here. All right, sorry. Mom's best friend just called up and asked for an update. So, you know, got to get the calls, man. So, anyway. But, yeah, it's interesting how when you look at these polls, though, it keeps saying 86% here, but it's not giving an actual number of those polled for that 86% is what it is there. So, it does make me wonder, because usually it does say, like, you know, exactly how many were polled for this whole thing is what it is. So, yeah, it just seems very, very fishy. Very, very fishy in general. So, maybe it's this one. Maybe this one will tell me right here. Okay. Let's see. Does this actually say here now? Okay, again, it just says 86%. Doesn't actually say how many people were polled for is what it is, dude. Okay, does this actually maybe say here? Okay, yeah. Finally found the number here, by the way, on this whole thing. In this teeny fucking text right here, 1,000 U.S. adults age 18 and over, overall margin of 3.6% likelihood thing. So yeah, 1,000 fucking people, like I said, dude, which is absolute BS entirely. So what you're actually talking about in that situation, the 86% BS there, is 860 jackasses being like, I support background checks of some form or another. That's what it is. So you have 860 people being like, yep, I support background checks. And the thing is, too, whenever they ask, because like I said, mostly college campuses they do this shit on. And so what they'll ask them is they'll ask them like, oh, do you support background checks? Okay, yeah. Okay, we got another for you for background checks now. It's a straight up lie, dude. Because the thing is, Even if you support regular background checks, doesn't mean you're going to support invasive shit like universal background checks, which are nothing more than Hitlerian confiscation stuff to create database future confiscation is what it is there. So anyway, but yeah, it's just a bunch of shit, dude, entirely. And I love how they try to like basically hide the fucking truth on those articles, by the way, too, on that one, because you even look at that right now, right? Like, okay, look at the fucking font of how they're talking about right here, where it's like 86% of Americans, like real big like that, right there, or whatever. And then you go down here, and it's like a fourth of the fucking size, where it says 1,000 U.S. adults age 18 and over polled. So you're literally talking about 860 people is what it is, dude. 86% of 1,000 people is what it is. 860 people is what the fucking number would be on that one. Yeah, it's a bunch of horse shit entirely, dude. And they're around 80%. He's claiming to support red flag laws. So again, 800 people probably is my guess on that one, for probably 1,000 as well on that. And then this BS King said, isn't and shouldn't become a partisan issue, and for the most part, saving lives from these weapons isn't. Okay, so why don't you actually admit that it's only 1,000 people poll for these, you dickless loser? Oh yeah, that's right, because you actually have to admit that you're fucking not having the numbers. It's the same bullshit they pulled here in Ohio, like what was it, 5-6 months ago now, where you had fucking Mama's Maine Action bribe cunt Allison Russo and that fuck knuckle Andrew Ginther, the Columbus mayor, go out there and be like, the majority of Ohioans support all kinds of universal background checks and red flag laws. And then they actually showed the polls from like some BS fucking Ohio State poll, where the hell was there. It was 500 people, dude. Sorry, it wasn't even 500 people. It was 486 people they claimed were polled for that whole thing, dude. So it was less than 500 people. It's less than half of what this national poll was there. It's such a bunch of crap, man. It really is. It's always a bunch of shit, dude. It's always a bunch of lies. Every single fucking time. Honestly, I'm telling you right now, dude, if I was any of the families of the victims of these people right here that were killed in that Lewiston, Maine shooting, I'd be suing the fuck out of August King by name right now at this point, dude. And the same thing with Martin Heinrich over this shit, dude. Yeah, you got piece of shit King claiming, I realize that nothing can bring back the lives of our family and friends, but responsible actions moving forward can reduce the likelihood of such a nightmare happening again in Maine or anywhere else. We owe the victims of Lewiston no less. Okay, then you have one of two choices, Angus King. Either introduce legislation to repeal the Gun-Free School Zones Act of 1990, or resign from office in disgrace, and somebody will step up that will do that thing, fucker. Those are your only choices at this point, buddy. Otherwise, shut the fuck up, old man. And stop trying to be a tyrant little fucker is what it is, you douche. I've fucking had it with these people, dude. I really have. Like, I have personally had it with the left at this point entirely, dude. You are directly violating your sworn oath to office, and you're getting called out. Rightfully so. Anyway, let's go to the other article and see if there's any more information from what the... shit. Sorry, grabbing the wrong one here. Put down this one. Grab the other one. Okay, so it would be... Fuck, where we at now? Yeah, okay, so this would be the local one here for the thing. Yes, let's go safe. King said bill would stop be a step towards curbing mass shootings. Well, if that be the case, why don't you introduce a 94 crime bill, dude? That would actually deal with the criminality in black and brown communities as it is right now. All right, let's see. GOSAFE Act would, quote, establish a list of prohibited firearms, so literally, assault weapons ban is what it is there. Prevent unlawful modifications of permissible firearms. Mandate the future gas-operated designs are approved before manufacture, and prevent unlawful firearms self-assembly and manufacturing. So, literally, stop people from actually making their own shit at home with that privately manufactured firearms. Would be then. Says King claims the GOSAFE Act includes exemptions based on maximum ammunition capacity according to a firearms individual class. A rifle, shotgun, or handgun capacity must be, quote, permanently fixed, meaning the firearm cannot accept a detachable high-capacity magazine that would increase the number of rounds that can be fired, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, go fuck yourself, cunt. You can go fuck off, Angus King. Again, we've already done this dance, you dickless piece of shit. We have won. We beat your ass in the fucking courts, always Supreme Court, asshole. With the Heller decision, with the Bruin decision, with every other fucking statute recently, and multiple various, what do they call those? The circuit courts, etc. as well on that one. We're beating your asses on assaultment's bans in multiple states at this point. You have no fucking leg to stand on. Just resign from office, old man, and fuck off for the short amount of time you have left on this fucking earth, old dude. Go spend time with your wife. Go spend time with your fucking kids and grandkids. Leave politics, bitch. And it's as simple as that, honestly. Anyway, exceptions include 22 rimfire or less firearms, bolt-action rifles, semi-automatic shotguns, recoil-operated handguns, any rifle with a permanently fixed magazine of 10 rounds or less, any shotgun with a permanently fixed magazine of 10 rounds or less, any handgun with a permanently fixed magazine of 15 rounds or less. Okay, this doesn't make any sense, by the way. So, you cannot permanently fix a fucking magazine to a gun, you idiot. Literally, almost every single fucking gun by definition right now has detachable magazines, you jackasses. They are common use weapons. They are common sold weapons. They are protected under Heller, under Bruin, etc. Go fuck yourself. You've lost this argument 20 years ago, old man. Anyway, so the bill would also limit number of rounds for a quote-unquote high-capacity ammunition feeding device to prohibited to carry 10 rounds or less. Bill would also make conversion devices, including bump stocks, Glock switches, unlawful, which they already are, by the way. So the bill would also create a voluntary buyback program. You never fucking owned the shit. We're not having you buy back a goddamn thing, you fucking assholes. Allowing people who already own guns and magazines banned under the bill to turn them into great... Dude, you fuckers want to create a second American Revolution in this country. I swear to God. And that's what's going to fucking happen, by the way. If this shit's able to pass, dude, prepare for fucking war, motherfuckers. Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have people fucking go after your asses at that point, dude. I said it before, honestly, with the scenarios that came up a month or two ago is what it was, dude. With the various things that are going to happen here in this country. Of how close we are to various scenarios kicking off and like assassinations being on the table at this point, dude. That's what's going to happen, honestly. You're having them go like one step too far too fucking often anymore. And when they keep doing that shit on a regular basis, dude, and we don't say, no, not one more goddamn man should fucking knock him out cold at that point, it's going to get to the point where that pendulum is going to swing back and it's going to snap and it's going to kill everybody in its fucking wake, dude. Legitimately. And that's exactly what's going to happen pretty soon, dude. That pendulum is up at the top right now, dude. Just waiting to fall and waiting to snap apart is what it is right now. And just go flying like a fucking disc around everybody is what it is, dude. And ain't nobody going to be unscathed when that happens. And that's exactly what's going to create a second civil war in this country, a second revolution in this country, tribal warfare, etc. It's something I personally don't want to see happen, but again, unless these fuckers continue to stop fucking around, this is what's going to happen at the end of the day, dude. This is exactly what they're creating. They're creating disarmament that's going to lead to tyrants being executed, period. End of story. So Gunners of Maine Board of Directors issued the statement, said Senator Angus King's GOSAFE proposal is not only misguided but dangerous, said Laura Whitcomb, president of Gunners of Maine. So instead of focusing on curbing violence perpetrated by individuals with mental health problems, he is seeking to infringe not only on law-abiding citizens, but the future manufacture of firearms by mandating that future gas-operated designs are approved before manufacture, which means approved by government, by the way. So this is a dangerous precedent for the government to further dictate how United States citizens defend themselves, and the Orwellian undertones are unsettling. Said King's proposal would make tens of millions of firearms that have already been deemed legal to own by the Supreme Court illegal. Exactly, dude. And that's the entire point right there. And that's exactly why they can't be fucking... You can't even have... Like I said before, dude, it goes back to what I talked about for the last month and a half or so now, with this bullshit issue 1 that's fucking pro-abortion here in Ohio. It cannot be legally allowed to go into effect because it directly violates already existing law for over 150 years in the books. It's the same shit here, man. You have this directly violating laws of the fucking land since 1776, bitch. Like, I swear to God, dude, like, these people are just asking to be killed at this point, honestly. They really are, truthfully. Because that's exactly what they're going to lead to. And the only reason that they think they're all tough and mighty and shit like that, dude, is because they're hiding behind armed guards 24/7 of their fucking lives. Honestly, at this point, what we need to have is legislation on the books that says, no, if you're going to try and push for gun control, dude, you have no fucking armed ability anymore at all, dude. You can't have an armed guard. You can't have an armed security, anything like that. And we'll see how quick shit changes then. That's the problem, though. It's just a bunch of pussies, dude. It's a bunch of old-ass geriatric motherfuckers who are the biggest criminal scumbags, many of which are child molesters in power right now, trying to see what can be pushed forth and how far they can take things before they get fucking knocked out is what it is, dude. Before their tyrant ass gets put 6 feet under is what it is then. And I think, honestly, like, and the thing is, I will openly talk about this shit, dude, because I'm not going to be the one doing that stuff, honestly. It's going to be the people who aren't talking about it, who are just sitting there with the fucking axe to grind against government already at this point, dude, who are like, And they're just going to be the people that eventually are going to lead these revolutions, are going to lead these Second American Civil Wars, etc., dude. It's going to be a lot of the operator types from our fucking military people. Mass non-compliance is the simplest issue right now, dude. We will not comply to tyranny. We will not comply with tyrants, period, in the story. Not one shot has to be fired, honestly. Not one drop of blood has to be spilled. Mass non-compliance worked. It worked with the ATF bullshit. It would work again now. It's time for the Second Amendment community to step up together to unify legitimately and tell gun-grabbing fuckboys like Angus King to go eat shit. And if Maine has the ability to recall this fucker from office, recall his fucking ass from office then, dude. Do that. Somebody in Maine, if you have the ability to recall voting on senators and stuff like that, dude, recall Angus King from the U.S. Senate right now. For deprivation of law, for oath-breaking, for tyrannical acts against the American people is what it is. And it's as simple as that, really. Anyway, I'll be back later today with the next episode of Freedom Friday. I'm not sure exactly what... Oh, no, that's right. I was going to say, I'm not sure what we're going to talk about that. I remembered, yeah. We're going to do the Eli Dickens self-defense encounter then, and we'll do a whole breakdown of that whole thing from about a year and a half ago or so, which would have been yesterday's Buckshot Thursday, but like I said, everything went down with the family yesterday and this whole thing, so... I'm going to try to do that around 4:30 to 5 o'clock this afternoon. I'm not sure, though. It depends on if my family is able to call me up and stuff like that before that and whatnot. If I can if mom can make the call to me and, let me know how she's doing and everything else like that or whatever. Or if my aunt can make the call and have mom just talk to me for a couple minutes, then if that'd be the case. So, yeah. Anyway, so I'll be trying to do that then if that'd be the case, and then we'll go from there, basically. And other than that, though, I'll play it by ear right now. It might be up to 6 o'clock tonight if that be the case then. So, but yeah, anyway, that's where I'm at for the day, though. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Angus King and Martin Heinrich can go fuck themselves. They should both be removed from office immediately. Deprivation of law is what it is. They should be locked out in handcuffs from the Senate chambers straight into a prison cell in Washington, D.C. is what it is right there for high treason, etc., etc. Because actually, technically, it does fall into both those things. I'm thinking about it, honestly. It's not even just deprivation of law. It actually is high treason against American people is what it is, dude. So, penalties for high treason, by the way. So, anyway. But yeah, that's where we're at for the day, though. Fuck both these tyrant cocksuckers, and may they eat shit very quickly is what it is, dude. So, anyway. Have a good one, y'all. See y'all on the next one. Later.